Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So as I mentioned, I don't know which order I'm going to be uploading in, but during the friends and family, if you got the link from an employee kind of a thing, one of the things I did end up getting was this new quad from Tom Ford. I always forget to take out the little applicators. Now, I am kind of high-key regretting, not sure if I should regret this or not, because the reviews for this have across the board been super bad. So I guess I'll throw my hat in the ring and see what I feel about these, but not really the greatest time for me to decide that I really wanted to try more stuff from Tom Ford. Serves me right, I guess, for making questionable decisions about makeup to buy, because now I will say I have used Tom Ford products before. I really want to get that Traceless Matte Foundation because I tried a sample of it and it was like the best foundation I've ever tried. And then I have the Creme Quads, like the Forbidden Pink and stuff. Those are really nice. And then I also have the I have like the cream shadow duos. I like those a lot. I'm also going to go ahead and try the other SHISEIDO foundation I picked up during the sale. I got the Radiant one and I also got the normal one. I'm going to use a primer today. I'm going to go ahead and use a hydrating primer. I'm just going to use the one from Dominique Cosmetics, which I have one more backup of, and then after that I'm going to have to like find a new primer. And then I'm going to go in with an under eye corrector, and I'm going to use the Rare Beauty Brightener because I like it. It's really good. I definitely have seen like mixed reviews on this. I know some people like it, some people hate it, but I personally just really like it. I've used it in pretty much every circumstance imaginable, and not only does it do a really great job of brightening and adding some coverage to my dark circles, but it also holds up in pretty much every single weather circumstance that I've tried it against, and it's gone through some pretty tough stuff and it still always wears really well. So, and then I'm going to use a concealer corrector for the hyperpigmentation on the corners of my mouth, and I'm just going to, instead of using like an actual concealer, I prefer how it looks if I just use some kind of color corrector. It just cakes up a little bit less there since obviously this part of my face moves a lot, and you can see it's very subtle, but it just helps a little bit with getting rid of that darkness a little bit. It's a lot more liquidy than the Radiant version, which surprises me. I thought this version would have been thicker. As you can see, I always put on really thin layers. This is just my Shop Miss A sponge. Then I'm just gonna go back in and add a second thin layer where I want more coverage. I always feel kind of weird when there's something I've been wanting for a really long time and then I put it on and I'm not like immediately like exploded away by how good it is. And then I'm going to use my concealer. This is my JX1 Super Beat Up. That is a terrible blend. Next I need some setting spray. I applied a little bit more than usual just to see if that can kind of help with the hydration levels of my skin. I'm going to use some powder, and I'm going to use the FLORASIS Peach Blossom Powder. I'm still testing this one out. So far, I don't really have anything bad to say about these products that I've been testing from them, so go figure. I'm gonna put on some kind of eye primer because I want to give these shadows a chance. I'm going to go in with the NARS Smudge Proof Primer, which I know I don't need the wear time, but I'm gonna try this one with these Tom Ford shadows just because, I don't know, sometimes I've noticed that when I'm using these like ridiculously overpriced luxury shadows, using an equally overpriced eye primer sometimes seems to make them perform better. And the NARS eye primer is the most expensive eye primer I've ever paid for. Now, it is genuinely really good, and when I found out that it had been discontinued, I just about pitched a fit about it because it is so good. This is my go-to eye primer for a humid summer day where I need my eyeshadow to wear for a long time. So I absolutely love it, and the amount of tint in it is just absolutely perfect. So the fact that you can't get it anymore is an absolute travesty. I don't know why NARS discontinued it at all. I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. So I'm gonna use the Too Faced Superfine Brow Detailer. I just kind of bounce between whatever I grab first or whatever I feel like using, just because you know, brow products are pretty easy to use up, so even if I don't like them too much, I'll still keep them around and finish them, and then I just won't rebuy them. Okay, my eyebrow game has not been that great for a little bit, because whenever I have to take a filming break, it's like I basically forget how to do my eyebrows when I get back. Oh my god, my brows look terrible today. Please excuse me, I am so sorry. Once my bangs are on, it'll be harder to see how bad they are, so if you'll just excuse me, we're just gonna have to roll with these. I'm gonna go ahead and start using this quad here. This is called Dark Opulence. Now, when I first saw it, I thought that it might have the creme formula, and then I realized that that was very much mistaken. I didn't buy it thinking it was the creme formula. I did realize it wasn't the creme formula before I actually pressed the checkout button, but I guess I must have just been riding on like copium or something, because I still thought to myself, maybe it will still be good even though it's not creme. Maybe it's still creme-ish. I don't know what I was thinking to myself, but I was thinking something. And I was also just very excited to have that, be able to use my Rouge Reward gift card, which otherwise would have expired in like 2 days from now, 3 days from now. So I'm gonna start off with the blue, and then I'm gonna use this. Then I'm going to use this to darken things up, and then I'll use this to blend things out. So I'm going to start off with this blackened blue shade. Yeah, definitely not a creme, I can say that for sure. And I am using a Sonia G Builder 3, so it is a dense natural hair brush, which should be, from what I hear, the best brush to use to pack on pigments. I can totally see this shade giving me fallout, so I'm just going to be very deliberate about stamping this on. Now, I did see immediately people noting how poorly it swatched and performed, so I am not going to use my fingers in any of these shades. Whenever I start hearing people talk about hard pan or stiffness or difficulty picking up product after they've swatched it, I immediately have to wonder if the product in the pan is not the kind of product you want to be touching. Now, is that acceptable in a $90 quad? Absolutely not. But I don't want to screw up what I have. And that's also going to go on the lower lash line. It definitely does feel like a very hard pressed stiff shade, so it doesn't feel creamy or smooth at all. So far to me, it's not looking as bad as other reviews I saw. However, the performance is definitely not something that I would consider acceptable for the price either. And it's not blending out very easily, and if I had gotten this full price, I would have been absolutely incensed. I can already tell you right now, if you still really want these, please get them on sale. Look, look. She got big! You got big! Look at you, you are so big now. You're big! She is officially 6 pounds now. She is 6 months old and she's officially 6 pounds. Isn't that just like, she's so tiny, it's adorable. Anyways, as I was saying, feel like when I put my brush in the same spot, it's having trouble picking up product, but if I put my brush in a different spot, then it doesn't have as much trouble. I have the cutest nickname ever for Melody, by the way. When she's being really cute, I call her Melodorable. They just feel so dry. Like, literally, if I was in a cartoon, there would just be question marks floating around my head as I use this, because I'm just really confused. I'm going to take that peachier shade with a fluffier brush, and I'm going to go into that peachy shade, and I'm going to see if I can use this shade to rescue this look at all. It is essentially the same color as my eyelid, but as you can tell, it is a smidgen darker. It's very slightly warm, so it should be able to interact well with the blue without turning everything muddy. But I think because of the fact that there's no midpoint between this shade and the light peach, that it's still not really working. So I'm just going to use this shade as like a transition shade, and I'm going to see if I can add more of this blue with a fluffier brush, and now that there is powder laid down, that I can blend it out. Otherwise, I am going to have to reach for a different shadow. Now this is the kind of blue with a darker base pigment to it, so as you blend it out it's going to look a little bit kind of gray and desaturated. That is not a dig on the formula, that is just the nature of these kinds of shades that have darker bases. That's why you don't really hear me talking about the fact that the shade is kind of turning a little bit gray and funny as I blend it out. That's just what these kinds of shades do. That's why I don't like the Clionadh Jewel Multichrome formula as opposed to the Vibrant Multichrome formula. It's because of the fact that I have a hard time using those. I feel like I keep making mud out of them. Okay, I was able to blend it out to an extent that way. It doesn't look awful, but I am going to need to probably go over this with a different shade. I'm gonna try using the darkest shade now. This shade, it looks black, but from what I saw other people's swatches, it's more like it's like a very, very dark black blue. And I'm trying to avoid fallout because this shade is so dark. Yeah, you can see it's adding a nice amount of depth. I'm not using a very like thick layer or anything. I'm just using it to add some depth. I don't necessarily need this to like overpower the entire look. That shade actually performs really well. Okay, this shade's actually really good. What the heck? At least we got one winner in here. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about this quad. I definitely do not think it's worth the money I paid for it, though I will just have to say that right now. I am definitely really put off of getting any non-creme quads from Tom Ford ever again because of this as well. Just gotta put that out there. Unless Metal Lust by some miracle ever comes back, which I'm still really salty that I missed out on that one. I do really like Tom Ford's creme formula. It is a really good formula, so in the future for now, I'm just not gonna get anything unless it's creme. I was interested in Cherry Smoke, but now even though that one got a good review from Temptalia, I don't know if I'm gonna get that one. At least this dark shade is good though. Okay, that's what the look is looking like so far. It is really not that impressive. I am going to need to go into some other shade outside of this palette to just blend out these outer edges because I'm not having that. But for now, I'm gonna go into the shimmer shade. Feels again so stiff. This shade is actually not as shiny as I had hoped it would be. It feels almost a little too similar to the first shade I put down. It did add a nice teal accent to the look, but maybe it's just the brush I'm using. Like, do I need to use a different brush? I'll try using a different brush. I'm going to use a Refer 28. Yeah, this shade is really pressed hard in there. Yeah, I feel like my look just currently looks very messy and kind of just bad. You know, that's such a shame. I was so excited for these because the colors just looked so unique and pretty and different, and this is what I get for trying to buy things I shouldn't be buying. This is what I get, isn't it? I'm gonna use my same fluffy synthetic brush and go in with the darkest shade because it was really nice, and I'm gonna use that and see if I can just blend out the edges of this look the way I want to. Okay, see, that dark shade is really, really good because I was able to use that to create a pretty cool blend, and using a dark shade to do something like that is definitely not usually a good idea, but it worked just fine, see? So at least the dark shade is good. For the finishing touches, I'm gonna go in with the new Bobbi Brown Summer 2023 shadow in the shade Cosmic. I think this will definitely be the perfect shade to add the inner corner highlight as well as a little bit of sparkly topper to fix this mess. Okay, I'm gonna switch to using a finger now. Okay, you see how that just really helps conceal a lot of the issues that I had with these shadows. It's a warmer mint. It's warmer than I was expecting. It's not got the golden shift to it that Becca Golden Mint does, but it's definitely not a cool green pastel mint. I'm going to use a highlighter for my lower lash line, and I'm going to use Skywalker, which is white with a blue shift to it, and this is going to let the lower lash line really pop. And you can see that really amps up the lower lash line blues, makes it look a lot better. And then I'm just going to bring that into the inner corner. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of this to the mint just so that there's some color continuity. And then I'm going to use a little bit on my finger, dot it over the blue just so that there is some interest. And I still am not really happy with the blending up in this area, so I'm going to pull a different palette out and fix it. I'm going to use the shade Plastic from the Dollhouse palette because I want to stick with using a warmer shade, but I need to find something that will actually like be dark enough to work and blend. And I'm just going to very lightly dust on very thin layers at a time. Do you see how that just kind of really helps to touch things up? I'm also going to use that on the lower lash line. Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better. Still not as good as I had hoped for, but at this point, I feel like there's only so much you can do to salvage a palette that is just not good. And like, I don't really have ready access to a Tom Ford counter, so it's not like I can just go and swatch them in store to decide for myself. Tom Ford is sold at the Nordstrom near my house, but by near my house, I mean it's like a 35-minute drive out, and I hate driving. And I'm not going to drive out that far just to like swatch Tom Ford. I have to have a really good excuse to already need to be there. Okay, so my eyeshadow is not quite symmetrical. As you can see, there's like two different angles going on here, but there's only so much you can do when that happens. Okay, so this is going to be my eye look completed. I'm just going to call this. I don't think it's going to get any better. I have salvaged it as best I can. The Bobbi Brown single, the Kaleidos highlighter, definitely came in clutch. Using the Blend Bunny palette to kind of just blend things out a little bit definitely helped, but there's only so much you can do. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it quits on this eye look. I don't dislike it, I do like it, but this does not look like a $90 eye look, or even 90 times 0.8 minus Rouge Reward gift card. I mean, it just doesn't read that way to me. This is not looking like it came from an expensive product at all. I'm gonna finish off my eyes and then I'll be back to do my face. I am gonna go ahead and just put on some false lashes, just keep things simple, and then I will move on. I have put on my lashes. It's some kind of lash from Doe Lashes, I'm not sure, and then I just put on some lower lash mascara. I could totally put something in my waterline and it would definitely look good considering how dark this eye look is, but I'm lazy, so I'm not going to. But this is what everything is looking like now. As you can see, it, you know, it pulled together. So I'm going to put on a blush, and I am going to do a full 21 Days of Beauty haul video later, but I really want to try using Teddy from Persona Cosmetics. Now, as you can tell, mine melted a little bit on the way here, but that is okay. And I'm going to try using my new BK Beauty brushes as well. I only got the trio that has the 101 and the Hot and Flashy A506, and then it has the 109. So I only got this trio and it was 20% off, so I just got these three just to try a little bit more of the brand. I would love to get a full brush set from them someday, but that is very expensive, so not yet. So I'm just going to apply this on a brush. It does look a little bit maybe too warm for this look, but the peach I added should still make it work just fine. And I'm just going to use this brush to apply it. Oh yeah, I can see why people say that this brush is so good for applying cream products. Now, the packaging for the Persona blush sticks feels excessively cheap, like thinnest, cheapest plastic ever. It is not the packaging that counts, it is what's inside. But I will just say the packaging feels so flimsy. I almost would be afraid of this packaging breaking really quickly, so I'm gonna have to handle it with care. So that's Teddy. Really pretty. I'm applying a kind of a lighter layer to start with. I don't want to apply too much. I didn't powder my cheeks, but I did powder kind of towards the inside of my face, and it's not really where I'm having to like blend it out into where I put powder down. I'm not seeing any funny interactions. From the side is really pretty. Well, I have high hopes for the rest of this. I do like that I'm able to apply it in a sheer buildable layers, because I did end up getting all 4 shades from 21 Days of Beauty. I could not resist, and I know Persona has some other shades exclusive to the website that maybe I'll get in the future. Okay, so you can see that I put that on. I focused it towards the outer part of my face as always. Brush made it really easy, and you can see there is barely any product left on the brush too, which is really great. And I'm going to use a powder blush now to blend this out and set it. So for that, I'm going to use Acorn Beige from PERIPERA. It is the shade right here, really pretty. And I also kind of mattified it down just a little bit. I'm gonna use Aria from Flower Nose. It is white with a blue cast, but it is mostly white. I don't know actually, on second thought. Okay, I've had better ideas than this, but we're just gonna roll with it. It'll be fine. I thought it would work because this is a little bit less blue than Skywalker, but I'm going to use the diffused light shade in this palette here. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Ghost. I'm going to use that shade and see if I like it as a finishing powder. And just kind of remind myself, because I actually haven't broken these out in a really long time. The palettes this year have a lot of shades that I don't have. I've been really tempted to get them, but I need to remember if I actually like the finishing powders or not. I definitely look kind of powdery, but I will use setting spray later. And then I'm going to take the dim light and I'm going to put that on the perimeter of my face. It's just dark enough that it can kind of act as almost a contour shade. Because I already have such a beige toned blush down, I don't want to put down more contour or bronzer on top. I do look kind of powdery though. Like, I know some people really like to buff and stack powders. I'm not really that kind of person because my skin's so dry, so I really, honestly, aside from dim light and diffused light, I actually don't have any of the other color shades in the Hourglass new palettes from all three of them. So I was thinking to myself that it would be a dream to get the jellyfish one, to get the leopard, to get the jaguar one, but then put that in the owl and then get the snake. They're $90 this year, what the heck. Okay, I'm going to use the POREfessional setting spray. Just lock it all in. So my skin now looks a heck of a lot less dry. So the only thing left is lips, which I almost forgot to do. This is a lot of new makeup, but this doesn't really match. But my Olive Young order came in, and I'm glad I got one Romand lip liner from my Olive Young order because they all sold out on YesStyle, even the taupe one that I wanted the most, which serves me right for waiting so long, but I just haven't had the money to yet. So I got Dovey Pink from Olive Young. I am so excited to try these because Minsko said that she worked with Romand to make these specifically to tackle hyperpigmentation around the lip area, which is something I definitely struggle with. So I'm so excited to try these. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's really neutralizing the pigmentation around my lip. And it has a really soft look to it as well. And I know 2/4 just revealed they're coming out with a salmon one for also color correcting around the lips. So exciting, but look at that, it really did get rid of all of that darkness around my lips. And then to finish it all off, I mentioned in the past that I'm considering canceling my BoxyCharm subscription, but then every time I think about canceling it, they end up dropping in something that I actually end up really liking. So I currently have it set to like every other month or every 3 months, depending on what I feel like, and I think that's a good kind of middle of the road for me. But I don't know, I thought when I first got the subscription, I got it mostly so I'd have access to the discount section because I thought I was going to use that way more than I ended up doing. Because guess what? I actually haven't bought anything from the discount section yet. I haven't seen anything there that really caught my eye enough to feel like I wanted to buy it compared to my other wishlist items. So I may cancel in 2024. I've only gotten like 2 or 3 BoxyCharms so far, and I think there's nothing so far I really would have missed. Like the Dominique Cosmetics one was super cool, but like, I don't know. So anyways, one of the things that came this time is the Monster Lip Crayon from HAUS Labs, and it came in this warm shade, so I'm gonna try this. I was gonna get some of these on my own, but I know some people said they were kind of drying, so I'm gonna try it. If I like it, I'll get more shades because I did really like some of the colors in the range, and I really want to try the Makeup Forever lip crayons for the same reason, and the NARS ones. They just seem to have this nice soft matte appeal to them. I want to try the new NARS Power Matte lipsticks for this reason too. Like, I just want to try, I love lip products. I love trying lip products. I love lip color. Like, I love lip products so much, and I wish I just had infinite budget to get everything. So anyways, I'm going to try this. It's in the shade Peach Matte. This could be a lip liner shade for me. And I did put on lip balm beforehand. It's not super opaque, and it's kind of emphasizing my lip lines. This is definitely not gonna go dark enough for me, so I am going to pull for something a little bit darker than this. Recently, I expanded my collection of MAC the Powder Kiss Velvet Blur lipsticks. I'm going to use the shade Nice Spice. It comes in this nice sleek black packaging. These are not quite as comfortable as I'd hoped to be. They are not the best formula MAC has ever created, but the colors are so nice and the effect looks really nice, so I will give it a pass. Now with my eyebrows hidden underneath my terrible bangs trim, which I did myself at home, I think things look a little bit better now. Now again, I'm just gonna have to say I am really disappointed in this dark Opulence quad. I really did expect it to go way better than it did, and when I started seeing the negative reviews come in, I started getting really uneasy, and I'm very sad to say that I don't really like it. I really was expecting a lot more out of this palette, and I am very bummed that I kind of just feel like I wasted my money. Now, I do really like the colors, and I do really like the color scheme, and the darkest shade in the quad is really good, so it's got that going for it at the very least. Like, and definitely like this color arrangement in this compact quad is pretty unique, admittedly. But I definitely don't think anybody should pay anywhere near full price for this. Even getting it 20% off with cashback and Rouge reward gift card and whatnot, I still feel like I wasted my money or I wasted my gift card. All things considered, I could have wasted way more money on these quads than I ended up doing. I will do a video where I use the pink ambrosia, and I'm praying that this turns out better. I don't know what formula is being used for these two shades, but this is not a good new formula. It does not need to exist. The two powder shades were completely fine. This one and this one were completely fine, but and hopefully I can remember to actually do speed reviews. I am trying to start a bullet journal exclusively for my YouTube videos and hopefully short content and as well, and hopefully that will allow me to keep more careful track, put out more videos per week, and actually like follow up on any of these new products I show on my channel, because I know sometimes I use it and then you never see it again. Oops. So hopefully I can address that. So with that all being said, I'm going to end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like this look. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.